What's up, guys? I am live. I think I am running late. I hate when I fail you, when I fail myself. I set out a time, 8:30. That's when I'm gonna go, and then gym happens because I just love those gym sessions. I can't believe after 20 years of working out, I still get this crazy drive from a gym session. Just fuels me up with so much energy, the love to life, and I don't know why I'm going on with this rant. This is the weekly live evaluation, and I have to make sure that we are up and running, that we got audio, that we got video, so we can get this walkthrough of the week going. Get going with this walkthrough of the week. The learnings and reflections from the week of productivity. I can see myself. That's a start. Now let's see if we got audio. No, we don't. Oh man, no, do we? Oh, we got audio. Do we got audio? Do we got light? Oh, maybe that's too much. I think we're good here. As I said, this is the weekly live evaluation every Friday. Sometimes it's not live because I'm trying different things out. But weekly live evaluation also means tea time with Alex. And this beautiful Friday, sunny Friday, spring is in the air. It's actually 10 degrees outdoors. I mean, come on. We got blueberry tea served for us. But this blueberry bag is not enough. I'm not even showing you. It's a blueberry bag, but we need some extra blueberry flavor. So that's my holy elixir, what gets me going. Freshly pressed, well, it's not fresh. It's blueberry, 100% pure extract. Look at this. Fuck. God damn. It does make things like crazy. Why am I don't know what you are bothering you. I don't know what you care about. That's a discussion I want to be having with you too. I want to know what makes you go to this channel, what makes you interested in me, my content, or whatever. That's the second part of this live stream after I've walked through the week. I'm just going to be asking some questions, or perhaps having a monologue with myself, or just reflecting on how this channel should, what kind of content I should be focusing in on. That's for later. Right now, let's just briefly present what has happened in the week. What has been the focus? Boom. Productivity. That's what this week has been all about. Parallel to learning a new skill. Because last week I started to research how to go about developing new skills in an effective way, because you can learn like how to play guitar, but you can do it in more or less effective ways, of course. And so I picked up this book, or actually I picked up the summary of this book on how to implement new skills in less than 20 hours. Like, you find the fundamental pieces and then you practice in this most effective way for 20 hours. And the theory of that book is that by then you are good enough to to be good enough at this skill. So with that framework, I set out to learn how to be productive. And the productivity tips, what I gathered, what I have honed in on to be the most effective things to do if you want to be productive, was sourced from Tim Ferriss, a massively productive guy that he has just done so much in life. He's a virtual mentor of mine. The 4-hour work week it's a big inspirational source for how to live my life and such. But that doesn't really matter right now. It was good productivity tips, and I aim to implement them and learn the skill of how to be productive. And so again, it was multiple purpose here. I wanted to learn this framework for how to develop new skills, because I'm always going to be learning new stuff. So if I have this framework established, I can always go to this this piece of implementation process. Let's say next week I want to learn how to knit. Why I would like to do that, I don't know, but just say that's the case. Then I would just apply this framework to that skill. So from now on, I always have this go-to framework, which is super good and probably will save me a bunch of times, and perhaps will actually make me not quit on these things I want to learn, but instead follow through on these things. So I just think that the interest on interest effect on having a framework for learning new skills is just out of this world. But so, how did it go to learn how to be productive? Really good, actually. Super duper good. The idea was, with the help of this framework, I identified the key things that this is how I'm going to be productive. And it was basically 2 rules for how to go about life, your productive sessions. Because just to define productivity, it's basically the amount of the output, what you get out divided in the time you put in. So if you invest, let's say you invest less time but get the same output compared to before. Let's say this week I put in this amount of time and I got this much out. And last week I put in equal amount of time but I only got this much out. That means I increased my productivity, and you understand that. But what's perhaps more not so intuitive is the difference between effectiveness and being efficient. Effectiveness is doing the right things. That means I can be spending a whole week on doing a video. Like this week I focused in on doing a how-to video on how to make an ad. That was my only focus, and I choose to do that. It took all my time, but was it the right thing to do? I don't know. I was super proud with that video, but in terms of views, I got 4 views on that. So it could be questioned whether that was the right thing or not. It depends on what you define as your goal, what you want to accomplish. But choosing the right things to do is massively important, and that is part of this productivity scheme that Tim Ferriss outlined. Let me just very quickly say what he said. He presented 2 laws. Limit tasks to the important to shorten work time. This is like choosing the right tasks, having high effectiveness. And he also talks about the 80-20 rule here, like identifying these right tasks that gives the maximum output. That is key, that is crucial. And this 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, it's like a holy rule that says that there are different things that leads to 80% of the result. The 20% of your actions will give 80% of your result. Again, going back to my video, if you look at the videos I've put up throughout the history, this video I did this week, it took super much time, but it gave very little in terms of views, if that's what you want to measure. That means that was one of the actions that gave very little in return. If instead I would have made a super fun short vlog episode that maybe it was just shot in one sequence and I was just magically being super duper fun, and you just fell in love with me, and it only took 1 hour to do, that means that that's 1% of the actions, and it led to 80 or 99% of the results. So you see, we want to find the things that really are the right things to do. Maybe I'm just over explaining it, and I'm not thinking, I hope, now I'm the stupid guy. I don't want to make you feel dumb, but I just want to be clear with the principles here, because it is a super important principle, that if we just have that in the back of our head, it makes us look for these things. So it shouldn't be neglected, like, yeah, that's fundamental stuff. It's super important. And Tim Ferriss has 3 questions, I can't count, 3 questions that he outlined, that I outlined in my challenge, that we should be asking ourselves frequently before perhaps choosing what tasks to do, or in the beginning of the day, or in the end of the day to prepare for tomorrow's work. And these 3 questions were, which one of these, speaking about the tasks we have ahead of us, if accomplished, would make everything easier or irrelevant? Which of these, second question, which of these, if checked off, would leave me satisfied with my day? And the third question, which of these, if done, creates more time for me next week? So, see, just by asking ourselves these questions, asking questions is so important. Like, what do I want out of life? Really, really answering that question will give you a new direction in life. I promise you that. So the power of questions, as the power in these questions, there's so much power there. So much power. And that's why I'm really emphasizing them. We shouldn't, just because something seems fundamental and basic, it should not be neglected. It really shouldn't. Those are hopefully the most profound things that we should be focusing on, but we don't. Okay, let's not get stuck here. So that was so those questions applied with the 2 rules, which I actually started to say. I didn't say the second one. The first rule was to limit tasks to the important, to shorten work time. That was the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. And the second rule was shorten work time to limit tasks to the important. And that is Parkinson's law, which states that a task will expand to the amount of time you have available. Let's just quote this guy so we get it right. Come on, dude. Parkinson's law dictates that a task will swell, I love that word, swell, will swell in perceived importance and complexity in relation to the time allotted for its completion. It is the magic of the imminent deadline. If I give you 24 hours to complete a project, the time pressure forces you to focus on execution, and you have no choice but to do the only bare essentials. So you're following me? If we give ourselves 1 hour to finish this task, if that's all you got, you have a gun put to your head, and if you're not finishing that task, you will have a bullet in your head. You will finish it for sure. It may not look the same as if you had 20 hours, but if you had 20 hours for the same task, it means you will waste time on things that really isn't that important. Going back to the previous rule of 80-20, the 80-20 principle, it will give you more time to do the less important things that takes time, but they will not give you a result that is worth the time it takes, because you have other things you can do. You always have to weigh in on what you can do. Alternative costs. There's an alternative cost for everything. If I choose to go to the gym, that means I'm taking that time from working on something else. That's why we need to know what we want, so we can balance what we need to do to get what we want, and identifying the most important things. Yeah, I'm probably repeating myself, but it's important stuff. It is. It is. Let's have a blueberry sip. Pause. This is good. So I think you got a quite clear idea of what the week was about. Or not quite. I used the Pomodoro principle, which means I have a timer for every work session I go into. So the minimum is like 25 minutes, or actually I've been having 10-minute sessions as well. When I only had, it's 10 minutes till lunch, I put on timer for 10 minutes. So ranging from a specific amount of time. usually the experts say 25 to 50 minutes. You have this defined time, which I have been using this app to track. It's called the task timer. I just put in the amount of time I want the timer to check me on. So right now I have a focus session here for 40 minutes of live streaming. That means it's ticking down, and I just write in what the purpose of this session is. And that's the power of focusing in on one thing. So we're using these principles. We identify the right task. We make sure what we actually want to get out of this session. So before we go into it, that means we know what we're going to do. So we're not allowing ourselves to go to a different page to read up on what blueberry does to your body and why it's healthy. Those kind of things pop up in my mind all the time. No, when I'm doing a live stream, I'm only doing a live stream. When I'm doing some construction work at work, because I work with developing suction cups, yes, that's the thing, that's what I do. If I'm going to construct a new cup, I'm not allowed during my 30-minute session to go to research blueberries. That's my reward. I can do that afterwards. You see, that's also how we need to think about this. As small habits we want to implement. Habits, that's how we build sustainable good routines for ourselves. So, to just explain more what this habit is all about. This thing, applying the rules, 25 minutes of live streaming, this is the cue. This is what starts the routine. My productivity sessions, it's always the same loop. I start with putting in a time for how long I'm going to be doing a specific thing. Then I do the routine, the actual productive work, focused, boom, make sure I do that. If I fail, I've drawn a line on a piece of paper, so I keep myself aware of when I'm off tracking, when I'm wandering off on my mind. If I want to do this blueberry thing later, I don't want to forget about it. I just note it very quickly. I put a line, like, okay, I lost my focus, then I go back. That makes me, it's like a self-corrective action, because that's one of the key principles from applying a new skill. You need to be good enough, you need to have a you have to have high skills enough to be able to self-correct. In this productivity case, it's quite simple. When you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then you need to self-correct. And we do that by just reminding ourselves, by drawing a line on a piece of paper. Yeah, I was not supposed to do that. Let's go back to this. You have just corrected yourself. So that's a routine. That's how we self-correct. That's how we practice the focused habit of doing one thing at a time. And then the beauty of this, it always ends with a reward. That's what closes the habit loop. And what the reward is, it's up to you. For me, this week, it has been to do this small little things that I come up with. Like, okay, I'm so goddamn curious about what the blueberry does to me. Why does people claim it's healthy? I need to know. I need to feed this hunger within the curiosity of the blueberry question. So 25 minutes after my session, I go to Google and I research that shit. Now, this is just a random example for one of my rewards. I have so many small things I want to do. And sometimes it's just checking Instagram on my phone. That's a reward for one session. I keep a list of things I want to do. And having a small reward all the time, it makes your brain see the power in the habit loop. It knows if you cue yourself with the timer and you do the routine, you get something good out of it. The bonus of this is that you also really get so much done. Seriously, this week I set out to do 20 hours of productive work sessions. I'm up to 30 hours, close to 30 hours now of productivity sessions that has been more or less awesome. And that's huge. because it's not easy to stay focused to do only one thing. It's really not. Especially if you're working in an open landscape like I'm doing. You get interrupted all the time, people come and ask questions, and it's part of your work. You need to be able to do that. So it's idealistic to think that you will be able to have like 40 hours of productivity sessions throughout every week. You for sure can do it. I probably will do it by the end of this week, but don't set the bar too high, because it also makes you a bit messed up. Because one thing, a drawback of being super focused and too productive, a drawback this, okay, I need a blueberry sip. Pause and reflect. One drawback that I've come to realize this week is that since I've gotten so goal focused, yeah, I'm gonna reach these hours, I've seen how the time has accumulated, like, oh, getting close to those 20 hours, this habit is really starting to settle in. It has also made me like less social, like a bit workaholic-ish. I have spent less time socializing with colleagues. We always have 2 sessions of fika, like just coffee and talking and laughing, getting a break from work. 15 minutes 2 times a day, and I had like 3 or 4 short breaks throughout this work week this week, just because I've been like a bit too nerdy. And you need to find this work-life balance. Now I'm excited about this, so then I go a bit overboard. But I think it's good in the beginning perhaps to do something for you. But it's something I've noticed, and it's something that should be noted by you. Work-life balance. In the end, relationships and enjoying life, serving life in the different kind of needs that you have. If you only are work oriented and neglect the other areas in life, connection, growth and stuff like that, it's not gonna end well. So have that in the back of your head and be aware. That's why these sessions, these weekly evaluations, when we are actually looking back at what we've done, how it has shaped us, and reflect and make changes accordingly to how we strayed off our path, or how we realized that we thought we were on the right path, but in hindsight, nah, not so much. Super important to have a weekly evaluation. And a weekly evaluation, which I always have, not only in this live stream with this specific topic in mind. Afterwards, I go through all my life areas and see where I am. And sometimes I don't give this enough attention, and then life shits itself. Sorry for the language. That actually kind of happened this week, which will kind of close down this whole thing a little bit. I will end with another reflection of how my productivity went down the drain when this thing happened, which I will be talking about right now. An emotional state, let's get the English right here. When you are reactional, when you're just acting on what lands in front of your feet, when you're not aware enough, conscious enough to make deliberate and conscious decisions that are right for you, you are reactive. And you get reactive when you are too responsive to the emotions. Am I going in circles here? When something happens that makes you like, when you don't have time to do when you don't take time to pause and reflect, life does not turn out well. I've been so good lately at developing this habit of pausing, reflecting, having a high level of awareness. That's a big piece of developing a high self-esteem, which has been big focus for me. When shitty things happens, we lose that ability. Yesterday a shitty thing happened, which directly impacted my ability to be productive and do the right things. Just like that, I started doing things I shouldn't be doing. I started eating. I went to all the different pages I wanted to visit just because I couldn't control myself. I was too much emotions. And that's when you need to sit down, journal, reflect, and walk through your mind. You need to have that awareness. You can sense the alarms need to be ding, 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 ding. Alex, get your shit together, sit down, write what is happening right now and deal with it. What happened was that I realized I just messed up real bad and lost $400 just because I forgot a thing. I had the details isn't that interesting perhaps. I had some stocks, not stocks, but you get, I don't know the English word for it, but you get the right to buy stocks for a certain price when they're gonna bring in new capital to the company, and I have gotten those rights, but I forgot to use them. I either say I'm gonna use them to buy stocks for a certain price, or I can sell them off. But I just forgot about them, and that made me lose like $400, which sucks donkey arse. Specifically when I have this sales challenge and I'm like hunting for small change right now, and everything matters because that's just my focus, the business focus of the month, and I can't be messing up things like that. So I just got so furious on myself. Still am. But I have a system, a way for dealing with those kinds of things, and I think that's gonna be the next week's challenge, which will lead to like doing some things that I fear. The details really aren't clear, but what I want to say with this in relation to what we're talking about is emotions will mess you up. It will create this deficiency in willpower. It will just drain you like that. Your discipline will go out the window. And the only way you can be able to hinder that, to stop that, is to pause on life, sit down, reflect, write down what is happening. First off, accept what you're feeling, the emotions. First off is being conscious and realizing, yeah, I'm feeling something. Then you pause and then you accept, yes, I'm feeling these things. This is real. Life just happened, but life happened. But thirdly, you accept it. You say, yeah, shit like this happens sometimes, but how do I move on from this? How do you take responsibility? Third step, self-responsibility. Self-acceptance, second step. First step, high level of awareness, high level of consciousness. This is the first three pillars in how to develop a high level of self-esteem. And when you have accepted your reality, you can take actions on how to take the right actions, hindering what's going on, making your messed up situation be a good situation. You always have the power to do that, but you need to have the Jedi mind to be able to pause the chaos that's going on. And that power, that skill, and that's a skill too, it can make all the difference for you in life. And that kind of relates to it, a story I'd like to close on. I'm just gonna take it. This is actually a Tim Ferriss story too, and it's super good. So I just have to to read it to you. It relates to this whole thing with being reactional, with not identifying the right task. You see, all this comes in, it's a loop, everything, being productive, doing the right things, being aware of what you're doing. Basically all these things relates to having a high level of self-esteem. The book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, that's heavy shit, good shit. But the story from Tim Ferriss is so neat. It's powerful, I think. I'm not gonna overhype it. I'm just gonna read it to you. It's about 2 men living in the savannah. Follow me on this one. The first man decides he must eat immediately. He starts chasing after mice. After securing or skirting, after looking for these mice for a few minutes, he catches a few and eats. But he's immediately hungry again. It was so little food. So he repeats this pattern over and over again. But he survives, but it has meant that he had to dedicate his entire life to do this hunt, to chase these mice. That's essential for his survival, but it is a strategy, and he just went with it. That's what he ended up with. But it was an active decision on his part. The second man, however, he sees a gazelle on the horizon. Huge, just glowing of this gazelle. It has so much meat. What if he could catch that? So he's thinking, how can I go about catching this? Because it's strong and fast, it's gonna be tough. He spends an hour fastening a spear, an hour napping, and then he goes hunting for the gazelle. He has a plan for how to catch this animal. He got the sharpened spear and he's well rested, ready to just hunt for real. And so he managed to get it. He gets the gazelle and he has enough food for an entire week, at least an entire week. So he eats, rests, he gets stronger, better reflects on what has happened, how he can improve this, do it even more efficiently. And then he just walks and thinks, just because he enjoys it. He enjoys life. It takes time to enjoy what he likes doing. And so the question Tim Ferriss ends with is, are you hunting mice or are you hunting gazelles? I think it's powerful. Especially because I can relate so hard to it. Like my entire life, my years of studying, my years of working, I've always been like doing things 110% of the time, just pushing on with a lot of useless things that just takes time. It's those 80% of the tasks that only gives 20% of the results. Are you following me here? If we choose deliberate the right kind of things, then we have so much time over to do other things. Whether you like walking or do more of these good things, it will just bring you a happier life because you're reaching goals and you can enjoy life much more. Fulfillment. I just thought it was a beautiful story. That's why I choose to share it. Yeah, that's a good one. So that's the conclusion. That's the end of this session. Did I time this well or what? I didn't. I just went on a live YouTube stream rant. Tend to be good at that. I did want to speak a little bit about the future of this channel, but I don't know. We don't have any live practitioners here now anyway, so I can just share my thoughts on this right now. like I started with in this video, I did this how-to video. I've been having this business focus, and I've gotten a really bad response in terms of people watching the videos. Maybe I'm losing touch with I actually had the essence of my channel. I don't know. It's hard to know, but I'm trying to play around with it. I know I have a goal the 1st of October to have taken this seriously, the whole YouTube thing, perhaps starting some kind of business related to this, but the channel is like the focus. I want to develop it. I want to make really good content for you. And maybe I strayed off the wrong path here, or it's just that my subscriber base, you guys, just have subscribed to me for one reason, and now I'm starting to present some other content which isn't relevant to you. I don't know. It just gets me thinking, and it makes me question what is right to do, what is not. It's good questions. It makes me really think about this on a deep level. But if you have some opinions on this matter, what do you get out of this channel? What would you like to see in the future? Please share those. I'd love to hear them. Good and bad things. Much value. It holds much value to me to hear your thoughts. Am I messing up my voice? I'm going to a vocal coach these days once a week, and she's teaching me how to use my voice in an effective way. Did I use the term effective right now? Efficiency, the right way. She's learning me how to use my voice in an efficient way, doing the thing good. So I don't know what I wanted to say with that. I'm losing it. I should have just quit when that thing rang. My name is Alexander Nilsson. As I said, please share your opinions on this channel, what you think about it. And I will give you a new video Sunday for the next week's challenge. It might have something to do with my fail, doing some fear facing perhaps. I still want the business theme to relate, but perhaps on a lower level. Since I lost a whole lot of money, maybe it's going to be about making up for that loss and perhaps double it. I don't know. We'll just have to see Sunday. Then the video will come. Again, my name is Alexander Nilsson. You probably know this by now if you're still watching after 40 minutes of ranting. But I am thanking you for watching. It means a whole lot to me. That's why I'm sitting here. And I do invite you to the next week's challenge. I do. Have a nice weekend. See you in the next one. Bye, guys.